Opportunity, I would like to say thank you, Margot Smith. Many years ago, we had that opportunity to have the conversation on the staircase, and many years later, and to come now, it started from Tananthi, and to come and to be with Nikki now, my countrymen, and how important it is to handle it. And I would like to acknowledge and say thank you to the Monacan Indians and the First Nations of this country, and each and every one of you that are sitting here today. And I would also like to say thank you to the Spinifex Chanpi, the Spinifex men next door that I'm showcasing against. That is our chukurpa, that is our milpa, that is our story, our song, our dance, and how important men is, how important Wati is, and how important it is that this is my story, and how important that chukurpa handle it, Robert Fielding. Traveling from our country to the lands of the Monacan people, I want to begin by saying thank you, everyone here at Klujiru, for their welcome and for the opening space to me to make my work and to my story, and to each and every one of you sitting here today. It is important that we keep the conversation strong between our nations, our languages, and our cultures, Nganampamanda, and our country, and how Paralpi, the place where we teach, where we learn, the Manda, the earth, it is important. It is our teachers. It holds us. It reminds us of who we are as individuals. It reminds us also who you are and carries generations of Chokurpa, story, song, dance. We do not own the land owns us. This is why we return to walk again in the footsteps of our elders, to take up their duties and responsibilities. The country is not a backdrop, it is a classroom, it is the library, it is the knowledge system, it is the trees, the rock holes, the water holes. They are the books of each and one of us of full stories. When I work as an artist, I work alongside Ngapachi. I am not just making marks on the paper or canvas, I am turning the pages of these books, sharing the knowledge they hold, even if only a fragment. My work is made with country, not just about it. It is about the sun, the wind, the dust, the water. These are my collaborators, even the objects I work with, like the flower buckets as you see. Whole deep story. It is a reminder of rations, of displacement, of survival, by driving spears through it, by remaking it into bronze, eternal. I remain and reclaim it as a strength, as to a testimony, as a warning. The spear itself is the bedrock of our Nungu culture, Chokurpa Milpa, our law, our art, our way of life. Casting it into bronze is a way to make memory endure, a way to ensure that when I am gone, these stories remain. Irare, Kware, Mola. This is an exhibition called Chokurpa Handle It. That means carry stories with care, with responsibility. It is not easy to hold these things. Sometimes I can't even handle myself. But this is what Mimli's taught me. It has taught me Chokurpa, story, Maku, the Wichirikrap, Irati, the roots of our community, the foundation we must not ever let go. When I speak of Manda Milpa, a sacred earth, I am speaking of stillness, of quiet, of respect. We do not just represent the land in our art, we speak with it. Every print, every mark is a part of an ongoing conversation. The practices move backwards and forwards, ngapachi, side by side as we are sitting here today. You give, I give. I return to the old paths and I create new ones. My prints carry the stories of my father, of my grandmother, of the stolen generations. They carry my story and they carry the stories of my children and their children and my grandchildren, who will continue these lines long after I am gone. Chokurpa Wapa. The words you see in the works, belief, kinship, policy, slavery, are not just words. They come from the archives, from government posters, from historians and histories of oppression, assimilation. They carry the silence of locked away documents about my father's removal. Too often I was not allowed or he was not allowed to take with him the memory of an image, not the image itself. So I restored them through the art. I reinsert their voice and his voice. They are not just historical records, they are my Baba. Bruce is speaking again and again through me. Looking at my prints is like looking through my father's eyes. My grandmother, Miriam, was a nomadic woman, a woman of power, who spoke 7 languages. My father was a boy taken from country, but he grew into a man who taught me how to ride, how to hold the reins, and how to hold on. His voice and hers are present in every line I make. This is not just about grief or trauma. Through it carries that. It is also about forgiveness. I am not stolen, I am found. I am a descendant of Afghan Cameliers and of Yanganjara people. My family story is one of the movement, the trades, the roots, the routines of opening the north to the south. These stories are part of Australian history, but also part of my blood. That's why a work like Milkali Kojo, One Blood, that my son represented Australia with the Eurovision contest in 2023, One Blood. It is important to me. It says, beneath the surface, we all are the same. We all carry the blood. We are connected. It is only Mary that defines us on who we are as individuals. Repetition is belief. Mark making is a prayer. Every time I print, I repeat a word, an image, a sign to build one's faith. Cobalt blue, as you see behind, appears again and again in my work. The color of water, the color of spirit. It is life, it is our survival. This is what Chokorba Handle is all about. It's about holding on to stories with care, honoring our teachers, the men and women who sat in circles of power, acknowledging trauma, but also forgiving and forgiveness, and to understand and understanding the secrecy is survival. As you will see next door, the spinifex, the secrecy of the land, and how important the men are. That what I show you here is only a snippet also. The full story is held in Manda Milpa, in Chokorpa, in Wapa, in language, in Inma, and ceremony. I carry the voices of Mimli Mago, Chokorpa, Antara, of the matriarchs, of the warriors, of flora and fauna, of the trees that will belong to my grandchildren and their children, and here on Monacan land, and to the other stories in the spirit of Ngapachi, Ngapachi, to give and to receive. Thank you on behalf of Mimli Magu Art Center and Mimli community and being part of the APY lands. In Dalkana, Mimli, Freegon, Unabella, Amada, Kanpi, Napari, Piblajara, and also our countrymen, Chonjanjara, the Spinifex. We are one through land, through story, through song, through dance. And as you look behind there, you'll see that canvas there. Deep within that, that is Toto, that's ochre. That is ochre that we beautify our bodies with. You'll see altar there, black charcoal. You'll see piranpa from parka, from tree of powder. And how important that cobalt blue is resource, life, the father that looks upon the Mother Earth, the protector. And to have my colleague here, Angus, also, this is a team effort. It's about Ngapachi, Ngapachi. It's telling our stories through the eyes of one, but telling the stories through how we become one, through forgiveness, honesty, integrity, chokurpa, milpa, that my tape is my tape. That is not a boring tape, a boring masking tape of fragile. That it is story, song, dance, that I wrap my work to come to this country in respect. But on behalf of myself, My community, I would like to acknowledge, the past, the present, the future, the Alpha, the Omega, the beginning, the end. How important it is that we as Indigenous and First Nations people of this countries, we are part of this one. You own the northern, I own the southern. And either way, we are the protectors. We do not own the land owns us, and it's about respect and how one another. Just take a moment to look at one another on the side of you. It's respect and thank you. Acknowledging. We don't smile enough, but at the end of this, I would like to say love for all, hatred for none. 2, 4, 6, 8, 16, 32, 64 is about who we are as people, identity. But what I want to ask and give is about ngapachi ngapachi. Give me your language, give me your story, give me your kapi. What does water mean in your country, in your mother language or your father's language? What does manda mean? What does Ilkari mean, the heavens, that you wake up to? But we wake up to one another, respect. But on behalf, again, thank you. And thank you to everyone that's given me this opportunity. That I am one, but there are many that will come and sit. But I must say thank you to the ones before. And I'm 2025, and I look forward to seeing who is going to be the next representative of 26. Palya, thank you.
Tell us a little bit more about?
Well, with my last one, I spoke about Manda Milpa, but it's about kinship. It's about policy now. It's about my dad. It's about the Australian United Missionaries. That 1928, my father was born. 1931, my father was taken from his mother. How sad that is. 1996, he died. Did he reconcile with his mother or his father? His father wanted him to change his name to Bruce Harvey, a white man. My father said no. I'm a proud fielding like my dad. But it's about, what took place for my dad was hardship, grief, sorrow. How many times he cried to the pillow, knowing that he was sucking on his mother's bosom, Wilacha, Ipi, Ama, and to be robbed of that breast, that milk, that nourishment, that Ngayako Baba had a name. There's a man in this room that's named Bruce. And in our language we say Kumana. Don't be a Kumana, you hold that name with pride, Bruce. But, he died 1996, I was born 1969. I was born of freedom. I have a voice, I have a platform. I can't live through the eyes of my dad, because my dad never told his hardship. My dad never told his sadness. My dad never told him he was born of a bastard because he was a white man's kid that was tampered by a white man that, see that seat there? It's black velvet. But this is reality of who we are, where we come from. It's about forgiveness. So I hated for 3 years white people. I grew up with white people. But you know what? I forgot what my dad taught me. Respect, love. And I'm glad it only lasted 3 years of my life. 3 years of my life that I've learned to love, respect, because my dad never showed hate. My dad taught me how to ride a horse. He taught me balance. My mother was born of Islam, where Nikki and I are also born of Islam people that came to our country. We come from wealth, but I don't know that. I have 9 children and 8 grandchildren, and you know how important it is that culture, identity is embedded in them, and that your children must be very respectful for what you had at that time, but what you have now is eternal. You have respect. Respect everyone around you. Respect your colleague, and to respect the time, the space, the travel that we do, and you know, to share something that all of us got different languages. We may think, oh, I'm an American, I'm an Italian, I'm an Aboriginal. I have many ethnical, but I'm proud of each and every one of them, that I lived through that hardship of kinship. I lived through that hardship of policy. I lived through that hardship of assimilation. When I went back to Mimley 1998, how hard do you think that was? I did not understand my Baba's language. I had to sit there and watch these men and women traveling. They came in at times. It was so strict, so traditional. It was so hard. The Lord, the beauty, the land was talking. Everyone knew me. I didn't know any of them. I didn't know my father's language, and I sat there. And to get sugar passed to you. Can I have sugar, please? Can I have tea bag, please? Oh my goodness gracious me, I had to learn all the etiquette. That's not rude. That is not rude. That is the way that Arnungwa, it's respect. I had to learn that, and you know, Angus understood that. He just packed it up, yes, you're right. But that's what I had to learn all over again, my father's ways of what he was robbed of. And, you know, I'm glad that I went back 1998. I'm 56 and I've been in Mimley for half of my life, 28 years. And I will never give that up until the day I die. I go back to my mother's country where my dad was taken as a bastard. Quorn, South Australia, mansion on the hill. It is a place where a lot of children went. And with that work there, it's about the United Aboriginal Mission, that there was Nana Hyde and Sister Rata. These are very important women of that era. A lot of people talk about missionaries as, she was too rough, she was too hard, he was this, he was that. But my dad never spoke about that. So that's why I had to learn to love and to respect and to honor and to think. And that's why I'm here, and that's how important it is that the Cameliers is who I am as an Afghan Camelier, that I come from Lahore, Pakistan, that I have a Zachariah, Zavan, Sibian, Zeldin, Perosa, Fatima, Peshawar, Priyanka, Zerakaya. I may not know Islam, but my mother spoke Islam. My grandmother spoke Islam. Nikki's grandfather, great-grandfather were Islam people. And how important that we have to respect each and every one of them. And, you know, if you haven't found yourself in life and you think that you're very whatever, you'll go away thinking after, you know what, I need to find out who I am. Who I really am, because I'm born from a mother, I'm born from a father. That's 2. You're born from 4. You're born from 2 sets of grandparents. Then you're born from another set of grandparents. There's a hidden blood between it that no one speaks of. I'm a white man's product. Do I look like I got a white bloodline? I have a white grandfather that I love. I don't know him, but I love him. I respect him. Mr. Harvey, you know, from London, from, you know, Ireland. I love that white blood. One day I'll meet him, but, you know, it's about policy. It's about kinship, it's about assimilation, it's about forgiveness. I walk my line. So thank you, everybody, for taking your time and effort to listen to one story, as there's many to listen to, but there's many to listen to your own story, because there's a lot of hidden agendas within each and every one of us in this room. that our families were ashamed to tell us who we were, where we come from. I had a person today that said, I'm an American. You know what she came up to me after and said? You know what? I got Swedish blood, but I didn't know. I said, I thought you was American. She said, no. You opened me up today. That I was ashamed to say that I had another ethnical blood in me. And that I had another blood. She also said that she was Asian or something. There was another blood within her. Don't ever think you can sit at a card table and say that you, at least my mom and dad got the same father and the same children. It's not like that. It's not like that. So this is what Chokorba Handlet means. When you find out the truth of who you really are, it hurts. But if you're going to be fake and lie about who you are when you walk out these doors or walk down that street and thinking that you're better than that brother or sister in that street, think twice. We're not. We're not. So, Chokorba Handlet, on behalf of Mimili Magu Art Centre, Indalkana, Mimili, Freegon, Unabella, Amara, Kanpi, Napri, South Australia, Northern Territory, Western Australia, and every state and territory within my country, I represent each and every one of them. But from the earth we come, to the earth we return. One day I'll go home, but at least my journey is done. Love for all, hatred for none, and to forgive. It's not hard. And, you know, everyone go like this. Smile. But in closing, just say, Arnong. Mono. Piranpa. Chongo. Black and white, we work together. Ngapachi, ngapachi. Because one day, manda mil milpa. Say, manda mil milpa. That sacred earth is gonna cover you. Are you ready? Are you ready for that second mother? Learn to forgive. Learn to respect, learn to honor, learn to think. You don't have to if you don't want to, but you know, the best advice is she's gonna cover you and she's gonna cover you with her earthly love. Manda mil milpa. Pala. Kala. Thank you. Thank you.